All right, so this is where we start our process of operating our light board. This is our power to all of our elements. This is called the dimmer rack. Here you can see channels 1 through 24. These all connect to our elements hung above. And then we have dimmers 25 through 48 also. This is our power switch. This is how we turn on our power. You're gonna need to use 2 hands because it's really heavy. First, I'm gonna yell strobe for anybody who's backstage or on the stage or in the audience because it strobes. So strobe, and then I'm gonna pull up nice and hard. You can hear it start to work, and that's how we power on our elements. So once we shut off from the board, we're gonna come back here. This is the last step on the turn off process. We're gonna make sure everything's closed and shut, and we're gonna use 2 of our hands again, and we're gonna push down like so, and you'll hear it shut off. You wanna make sure you push down all the way so that it is completely off. Welcome to the main booth, the tech booth. This is where all the magic happens. So first we're gonna uncover the board by carefully pulling this off, and then you're going to fold it nice and slowly like so, and you'll put it to the back, just somewhere where it's out of your way. Same thing with this one. We'll fold it and we will put it out of the way. So now that our board is ready to use, we're gonna come over to the Nomad puck. To turn the board on, you're gonna hit the ETC Nomad puck right in front, right there. You'll notice the screen is loading. At this point, nothing needs to be clicked. Here you might see some updates. Don't worry about this. You can hit OK. And now we are at our home page. Now I'd like to set up. So I'm going to hit Setup, Device Settings, Brightness Settings, and I'm going to make sure that my master is all the way on. Also my desk light and my backlight. Then I'm going to come up to my subwing, make sure that's about in the middle, and the contrast. I'm going to hit live on my keyboard to go back to my main screen. Now I'm ready to start my show. I need to make sure that I am in the correct file. So I'm going to hit File, Open, Show File Archive, Dave Main, and Main Plot. I'm going to double click Main Plot. It's going to ask me if I really want to open the file. I'm going to say OK. And now I'm ready to create a show. So now that I'm in the main plot, I don't want to record over the main plot. So I'm going to create my own show file. I'm going to make sure I'm in the main plot. I'm going to go to Save As under File. I'm going to double click Show File Archive. It's going to ask me if I want to save. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to backspace and create a new show file. So I'm going to create test. I'm going to say test and hit enter. Now I'm ready to record my own cues by creating my own show file. Now that we're all set up and ready to go, we're going to do a channel check. What a channel check does is to make sure that all of my elements are working properly and they're ready for use. So the first thing I'm going to do is hit 1 on the keyboard, and you can see that happening under live, at on the keyboard, and then full on the keyboard. After I hit channel 1 at full, I'm going to come onto my monitor and you can see channel check on the right here. I'm going to hit chan check and you can see that that took place over here, check. Now I'm going to hit enter. So now that I've hit channel 1 at full check, it's going to take me through each element to make sure that they are working properly. This also gives me a demonstration of what I have to work with when I'm writing cues. After I am ready on channel 1, I see that my first light is working. I will then hit next on the keyboard. You can see that go to channel 2, it's at full, and it is working. Next, channel 3, and so forth. After I go through each one, you can see me going through each one. I'm making sure that they are all working properly, and I end with my house lights, and I have completed my channel check. To the left of the board is our fader board. So the master fader is the first one here. You want to make sure that is always turned up. That gives you access to all of the elements. If it's turned down, it will blink. If it's turned up, you now have full access to all of the elements. These can be used to create desired looks, multiple elements at one time. So for example, if I get my purple wash up, it has multiple elements on that I like to use for my show. At this point, I can record, cue, whatever cue I'd like, and hit enter. Or I can just use my fader board for a desired look. The fader board can have multiple pages, so I can hit my plus, and it'll take me to a whole entirely different set. Now, if you want to record your own subboard here, this is possible by using your elements described earlier. I can hit record, sub, and whatever sub number you want. So I'll do record sub 7. I'll hit enter. It's going to ask me to confirm on my monitor. I will confirm it by hitting enter again. And now I have the desired look on my wing. So to black out the stage, I can easily do this with one click of a button by hitting go to Q0. Go to Q0 will bring all my elements down to 0, and then I will hit enter, and now all of my lights will be turned off. To record a cue, I simply hit the record button, record, and then I hit cue, and whatever cue number I would like to use. So for this demonstration, I will record cue number 1. So I hit record cue 1, and then I'm going to hit enter. And that is how you record a cue. Moving from cue to cue, I can use the forward button here, or I can use the back button here. This will move me from cue 1 to 2, so on and so on. If I'd like to jump to a specific cue, I can hit go to cue 6 and enter. It will take me to that cue. My live button to the right of the board here, if I hit live, that will bring me back to my home page on my monitor. To move my movers, I simply click on my movers that I'd like to move, and I can pan right to left or up and down. To the right of the board, you will notice a scroll. This will bring up my elements by scrolling forward, and it'll bring them down by scrolling down. Recording cues. So now I'm ready to record my first cue. I'm going to click the elements I'd like to use. I'm going to scroll up or down based on what I want to see. And now I'm going to record my first cue. I'm going to record a cue by using my keyboard. I'm going to hit record, cue, and the desired number. In this case, I will record cue number 1. I will then hit enter, and I now have my first cue. I can now check this cue by hitting the square back button. It'll go back to my blackout. I will then go forward with my triangle forward button on the keyboard, and I can now view cue number 1. Now to the top left of our monitor, you will notice all of our channels. These are all the elements that we have access to. So 1 through 6, you can see these are our face lights that we use mostly to light a face. If I click on it, click on 1 through 6, I can scroll up to the right of my keyboard on the scroll, and it will light the elements on stage accordingly. So right now I have it at full, but I could also have it at 80, I could have it at 55, or I could even have it at 5. That is one way to work the elements on stage. Now I can unclick, and then I will no longer have access to those elements. It'll be where it is. I can go to a different element, 10, let's try 10, 11, and 12. These are our downlights. If I scroll up, I have access to how bright I would like my light to be on stage. Now these are my LEDs. These are going to come from stage left and stage right. I can click my LEDs, and I can do the same thing. I can scroll up. I'm going to have these at full, so I'm going to scroll all the way to full. I like that how that looks on stage, so I'm going to keep it there. I can scroll down and choose different lights. Now we already did a chan check on all of these, so I know that they work. I can use my back LEDs by clicking. Once again, I'm going to scroll up, and I think I'll have them about 60. I don't want too much from the back, and I will click out of it. I could add some center spots. So I think I'll use 50, 51, and 52. And I'll scroll forward just a bit for a little bit of face light. And that is how I can control my elements by clicking. For my LEDs, which are 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25, these are my side LEDs. For my back LEDs is 32, 33, 34, 35. I'm just going to click them so that I can have access to them. So if I click that, I'm going to use the scroll. I can scroll up. I'm going to scroll to full for now for this demonstration. I can now come to 5 ml controls or color picker. I'm going to use my color picker to change the color of these lights. So I will choose purple, and now the whole stage will turn purple. I can also do these, so I'm going to unclick out of that. Now that I have a nice lit stage full of purple, I can also use my Mega Go bars by clicking 30 and 31, and then coming over to my scroll, scrolling all the way to full or wherever I would like to scroll. Hit my color picker, and I think I'll add some yellow. I click yellow, and now my Mega Go bars are yellow. I can unclick out of that, and same thing for my spots, my movers. I'm going to scroll all the way up to full. I can come to my color picker again and choose any color I'd like. I think I will choose pink for the movers. So this is how you can add color to your LEDs. Now your other lights do not have access to color. Only your LEDs have access to color. Up next, we're going to talk about our movers. We have 3 movers in our space, channels 40, 41, and 42. What our movers do, they give you access to light that moves. So I'm going to hit movers 40, 41, and 42 and give them full by scrolling up on my keyboard. Now I can move the movers by using the panels on the keyboard that are on top. I can pan it to the left, to the right, up, and down. I can also change its color by coming over to the color picker. So I click color picker, and I'm going to choose pink. So now I have 3 movers that I just rotated into position, and now they are colored pink. Now to access our magic sheet, I'm going to hit 3 live MS1 right here in this tab, and you will see a full grid of all of the elements in our house. You can see our LEDs on the sides here, here, and then in the back. We have the movers that are in green. We have our downs, our face lights, our corner lights, and you have a full view of what you have access to. Now to use each element, I can simply click the element I want to use and scroll up. I can unclick to stop using that look and go to another light. So if I want to use my LEDs on the side, I can click each one that I would like to use, and I can scroll as quickly or as slowly as I please to create my desired look. I can click my movers and scroll up. Now if I don't like the look and it's too bright, I can reverse it. So I can click my LEDs again, and I can scroll down slowly to figure out where exactly I would like my light to be. So I can continue this process until I get exactly what I want, and then I can record my cue. To record a sub on my sub master board, I simply hit record, sub, and whatever number I'd like. So for this, I will do 5. Then I will hit enter, and it will now be recorded into my subboard. To record over an already written cue, I simply hit record, cue, the cue number I want to record over, 1. I hit enter. It's going to ask me if I want to confirm. I'm going to hit enter again. To light a specific element from the board, I can hit my channel number, so 1. I can hit through if I want multiple elements, 6. At here, 50%, enter. And that will light 1 through 6 at 0.5%. To save your progress, you're going to hit shift and update, and it will save your show. So again, shift and update will save your progress on your show. If you'd like to change the fade in and out of a certain cue, you can click on the cue, cue 1, and hit time with the desired time you'd like. So we'll do 2 seconds, and hit enter. Powering off. So I finished for the day and now I'd like to shut down my board. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I have no lights on. So I'm going to scroll and see what I have on and make sure they're all off. I can either click each one and scroll down until they hit 0. Or on my board, I can hit go to Q0 and enter. And this will take every single light I have off. So now I'm going to double check and make sure that each element has no number. So everything is off. I'm going to do a check on stage to make sure no lights are on. And now I'm ready for shutdown. So then I'm going to go back to where I started to set up. So I'm going to hit setup, device settings, double click, brightness settings, and I'm going to lower each level to make sure that I have no lights on. So then I'm going to hit live on the keyboard to come back to the first screen. Under file, I'm going to hit power off device and I'm going to double click it. It's going to ask me if I really want to power off the device, and I'm going to think, have I saved everything I wanted to? And if I have, all the lights are off, the stage is clear, I'm going to hit OK. After I do this, I'm going to get my covers and cover up the boards, and I have completed for the day, and that's powering off.